Hello, hello, and welcome once again. J76NY here, and a new Sordland indeed. Sordland that is not friendly to bloods, women, or commies. Got a lot to do this episode. We're going to get into it here. Dire BFF bombs police station. See what I mean? The bloods up to no good. But who could blame them? I am kind of a dick to him. In a treacherous attack, the BFF has bombed a police station in Dire. Initial casualty reports are 3 officers dead and 22 injured. Perpetrators have escaped into the Gumran Mountains near Suzerain, and a search was started to bring them to justice. The border guard has been notified of the attack in case they try to flee to Wayland. Workers' Party of Bludia condemned the incident. Dire under lockdown after arrest of WPB leader. After the arrest of Fatah Ijal, the leader of the WBP, the Bludist population has been rioting in Dire, calling for an end to the unfair emergency decree. In the following protests, 6 people were killed and 264 were injured. Wow. Police moved into the city of Dire, which has now been placed under lockdown. All WBP party headquarters were raided, and its members were arrested to answer for the terrorism charge. All right. Red Youth member charged with terrorism and treason. 12 militants from the Red Youth have been tried and sentenced to 96 years in prison due to terrorism and treason-related charges in Boren. Many more Red Youth members are awaiting their turn in prison. Mayor of Boren reports concerns about reaching the maximum capacity of the prisons. Okay. Let's see what this is all about here. 3,684 were taken into custody after unlawful protests. Over the weekend, we have taken 3,684 citizens into police custody for protesting unlawfully after the passing of the emergency decree. Out of the 3,684, 134 have been arrested and charged. Interrogations are still underway to learn if they have membership to any known organizations. General Staff commends the administration. General Staff convened at Camp Strongarm. Fitting name. Session much shorter than usual concluded with a positive military analysis of Sordland's field capabilities. The Chief of the Armed Forces, Vulcan Kruger, made a public press statement praising the administration and its efforts to strengthen the most important branch of the government, the military. All staff generals co-signed a letter of support to the Rayne administration. So the military loves us. That's great. Explosion in Dire, 18 killed, 22 wounded. We just read about that in the port. There have been a wave of unrest in Sordland for the past couple of months. The attacks seem to suggest the racial tensions in Persia have also increased to a very dangerous level. Detonation, Sordland in a tough spot. Current public reports from the Ministry of Economy are pointing to a deep underlying problem with Sordland's economic standing, debt. It appears that the current ventures to get out of the recession have put a considerable dent in the reserves. Although the comments from the administration state that the situation is only temporary, that remains to be seen. Our economic advisors have commented on the matter, saying that the current stance of the administration is hiding the extent of the debt. This, of course, brings up the question, is Sordland turning into a debt nation? Vogslandian Navy forces Agnolian drill ship to retreat from Helgeland. Naval Chief Admiral Kurt Hexer on Tuesday said the Agnolian drilling ship was driven away from Vogsland's exclusive economic zone. Dyslexia. Gotta love it. In the Nurmanlander Sea, recently asserting that such activities will be dealt with swiftly and sternly. The ship entered the area without Vogslandian Navy prior permission, they said. The illegal occupation of Helgeland. This is going to boil over into an outright conflict between them, the Vogsland and Agnolia. So, Smollett condemns Arcasian soldiers in Lesbia, and Chancellor Hagel condemns military buildup in Lesbia. All right. Wedzek President Victor Smollett Thursday criticized the Lesbian government for bringing Arcasian soldiers close to the border of Wayland. Things are heating up here. Have here discussions of change to the tax system. We were at the top floor of a business council building, which had a great view of the beautiful Loch Haven. Looked outside from the tall glass windows. Archean sea stretched as far as the eye could see, and it was dotted with many ships towards the horizon. They were mostly cargo ships carrying precious goods in and out of Sordland. Tracing back the paths of the ship, I looked at the harbor. Loch Haven was home to one of the largest harbors in the entire continent. Many dockyard workers were loading or unloading the containers. Work never stopped here. The door opened. Simon, Mikhail, and Edith entered the room. Hey. President, Mr. President, nice to see you. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Take a seat and let's begin. Simon put down his bag on the table and started collecting his documents while the others slowly took their seat. Mr. President, before we start, I'd like to mention some rumors that Workers' Rights Act did not sit well with many business holders, especially the first section about the minimum wages. I heard the same. This has caused these businesses to lose millions of rands just overnight. Unfortunate, really, especially during a recession. What's is unfortunate was this bill was enacted this late. You're in no position to question my decisions. I don't care about rumors. If someone wants to say something, they can say it to me directly. Okay. Neither of them responded. Simon waited patiently. Once everyone was ready, he adjusted his glasses. First of all, I would like to thank everyone here for their work on our tax system reform. You all know how complicated our current system is, and this work won't be possible without you. Turn to me. The ultimate goal here is to end the recession. Before we move ahead and start formulating a plan, I need you to determine our direction, Mr. President. We have a few possibilities as the result of the work we have done so far. We can increase, maintain, or decrease the taxes for large corporations. I believe some of us in this room have a few strong opinions about this. In parallel, we can increase, maintain, or decrease the taxes for small and medium businesses. Let's start with the large corporations, and we'll move on to the small business. Oh, look at all these. What does everyone think we should do? Is there a downside to keeping things the way we are? What if we decrease taxes for large corporations? What does everyone think we should do? I don't think we can do anything at this point, although I would have preferred a decrease in taxes. It doesn't seem to be the best option. Our international trade is driven mostly by the products of these corporations. They are the backbone of our economy. Exactly. An increase should be out of the question. These companies are the backbone of our economy and our way out of the recession. Is there a downside to keeping things the way they are? I'm of the opinion that if we don't make any changes, nothing will change. Stop the recession, we need to do something. And everyone agrees with that. What if we decrease the tax? Not an option at this point. Our state is broke. Okay. We're barely functioning with the help of the taxes. Let's see. I'm ready to make a decision. I'm all ears. Well, you increase the taxes. Fuck them. Need the money. You're making a mistake. This is going to have outrageous effects down the road. Now, if the president has made his choice, well then, I have taken a note of our actions and I will put it to the implementation as soon as possible. We will be giving people some relief by enacting tax breaks for small and medium businesses. I thought I was the one to make that call, but okay. And there will be an increase for large corporate taxes. It will help us sustain our balance. Simon organized a stack of papers he had in front and placed them back in his briefcase. Well then, thank you everyone. That will be it for today. Enjoy Lockhaven. That's it. I left the meeting. I decided to stay a bit longer. Went by the windows again and kept watching the sea in silence for some more time. Okay. Well, we dropped our budget deficit by 1 to -1. I think we're down to 3 on our economy scale here. All right, so we're embargoing United Cantana. 2. And we are embargoing Rumburg. What that does. This down here. Visit and inspect the schools. Read the papers first. Tax cuts for small and medium corporations. In order to end the recession, the administration has announced new changes to the tax system. As per the information provided by the Ministry of Economy, the new changes include tax cuts of 10%, bringing the total to 25% for small and medium-sized corporations. President Rayne has approved the tax reform, and the changes are expected to come into effect immediately. Lockdown in dire. After the arrest of the spokesperson, we already read about this. Torin Hill School wins award. National School Ranking have announced their results for the 1955 school metrics. Surprisingly, in the category of primary and secondary education, the Torin Hill School has surpassed all others with the highest average results achieved in the student performance, discipline, facilities, hygiene, and staff happiness categories. The NSR committee gave an award to the principal. I wonder if that's where we're going to be going to visit. Education experts believe that the principal and the head teachers excelled in taking responsibility for their duties, which led to better performance in many aspects. On closer inspection, the Lockhaven Times editorial team found out about how much delegation occurred in the staff that even included diligent teenagers to improve and maintain the operation of the school. Okay. Large corporations' tax increase are uncalled for. According to the information we have received, the administration has decided to increase taxes for large corporations by 10%, to a total of a staggering 45%. That is pretty high. Almost half their income. We have shown our analysis of the current economic situation many times, and the result is clear. Large corporations bring in more money into Sordland, and they are the reason the recession is not worse than it is. The move serves only to weaken the backbone of our economy. Can't help it, but we're going to question President Rayne, and you can kiss my ass. Smolak threatens new military incursion targeting BFF. Wesek President Victor Smolak has threatened to launch military operations in northern Wayland, close to the border of Sordland and Lesbia, against the Blutish rebel group, the BFF, which Rocklaw's Rocklouts considers to be a terrorist organization. Observers point out the tough stance against the BFF, which is fighting for minority rights, plays well with Wesek nationalists. Smolak has pledged to eradicate the Blutish group from Wayland, the Democracy Party of Wayland, and the military organization, the Blutish Freedom Front, which is known to operate both in Wayland and Sordland. Such operations are fraught with military risk and the possibility of further exacerbating already tense relations among neighbors, particularly with Sordland, due to the large number of Blutish minorities living close to the border, as well as Arcasia-backed Lesbia. Despite such risk, some analysis don't rule out such a military operation. Hey. Name of that school? Torin Hill. Yep. Go to Torin Hill. What they're doing right. Part of the planned program, we arrived in Liren to visit a middle school. This prestigious Torin Hill School was situated close to the suburbs just outside the city center. The building was flanked by 2 hills, each beautifully dotted with shrubs and flowers. We're bringing along Ciara Walda and Galad. Lucian, Ciara, and I got out of our cars and met at the entrance. Our presence had not gone unnoticed. Apart from our guards, there were at least 10 reporters following us around. That must be the principal. Right this way, sir. Nice freaking neckbeard. Principal. He doesn't even have a name. Sexy neckbeard. There you go. Shout out to Tortuga and his roots. Principal was a man of short stature with a bushy mustache and a pair of glasses. He approached us quickly, but was stopped by the security guards. They started patting him down and searching him. Let's just wait for them to finish. Mr. President, such an honor to meet with you. Shake his hand and smile for the cameras. I'll just shake his hand. Welcome to our humble school. Let's begin. You must be Mr. Galad. Pleasure to meet you. And Miss Walda. So good of you could come all the way out here. At the entrance, the school's motto was inscribed on the wall in giant letters. And so, my lord, read that for yourself. There we go. Education is the premise of progress in all societies and all families. You walk through the gates. There were many students lined up in front of the stairs to the main building. School band started playing as we entered. All the students immediately snapped to attention and turned to me. Looks more like a military institution than a school. Exactly. That's what we pride ourselves on. Discipline has the utmost importance in our school. Very good. Ciara frowned and shook her head. Glad you like it, Mr. President. Now we will watch the students take their daily student oath. Oh, here we go. Little kids, boy and girl. A boy and girl went up on stage and grabbed their microphones. The students turned to them. I am a sword. My strength lies in my blood. I will respect our honored elders. I will protect the young. My life belongs to Sordland now, and it will belong to it forever. I will always follow the guiding light of Colonel Soul and the great swords. A Morgana West Corps, Vector and Sister. Hell yeah. What I like to see. Pride, patriotism, nationalism, baby. Little future soulists right there. Boy and girl. Clap loudly. Words to remember. What? No one even remembers it after they graduate. It's our national anthem, you bitch. Of course they do. If you wish to follow me, we will take a look at one of our classrooms. Through the hallways, we made our way to classroom 7A. As soon as I entered, the whole classroom rose and snapped to attention. At ease, soldiers. By the way, we're about to get into a war with Rumburg. I'm going to need you guys, so better dust off those trigger fingers. These are our top students and our top class. This here is my son. The boy came before me and saluted me like a military officer. Tell Mr. President what you want to be. Mr. President, I want to be a general, sir. I'm ready to sacrifice myself for my country and you, sir. This is nonsense. What are you teaching these students? Good, you will make a fine soldier in the future. Thank you, sir. Principal squeezed his son's shoulders, and the boy looked up and smiled to his father. He patted him on the back and sent him off to his seat. Cameras flashed. This is simply ridiculous. You're raising soldiers here, not students. I'm so sorry. I will immediately perform disciplinary actions. On who? And why? How about you, young lady? What do you think about this? She is our top student in the school. Her excellent grades are to... I didn't ask you. He bent down and gently addressed the young student. What do you think about your school, just between us girls? I'm sick of having to knit and sew while the boys learn science and chemistry. I'm smarter than all of them. Why do I have to take these stupid handicraft classes? Don't you know who you're talking? Shut up. Let her speak. Ooh. Not what I was expecting from a visit to a school. Ciara's presence had emboldened the girl. She went on. My math and reading scores are the best in the school, but they won't let me take the classes I want just because I'm a girl. Well, you could pretend to be a boy. See? 2023 now. No, it's not for you, little her, him, she, they, thou. But just pretend to be a boy. Come on. I want to be a scientist, not some soldier's wife. Let's see. But knitting and sewing are important skills to have for a young woman. I need more people like you in this country. I applaud your determination. Knit me a sweater. Ciara's eyes were shooting daggers at me. She looked back at the girl. Don't worry, we will talk in private later, okay? Okay. Cameras flashed once again. I looked around this classroom and saw a large portrait of Colonel Soul. Excellent portrait of Colonel Soul, very lifelike. Thank you. Well then, unfortunately we're almost out of time. That was quick. We don't stick around places much, in and out. Like a cool breeze. Cool breeze right there. That just says cool breeze. We have other meetings to attend to today. Thank you for the warm welcome. Mr. President, Lucian, please go ahead. I would like to speak with girl alone. Let's leave. Thank you for visiting our school, sir. Come on, class. 1, 2. All students in the classroom yelled, but the boy whom I met was the loudest. Hey, Morgana, West Corps. Vector and Sista, I say back to them. And give my good salute. Hooah. After another round of photos, we departed. Fantastic. Alright. That was fun. Let's see. What taxes increase for large. Yep. Turn 4. Party leader. Back to the newspapers. President visits school in Liren. Middle school in Liren received a special visit from President Rayne and Minister of Education, Mrs. Walda. Students and staff at Torin Hill School, one of the 5 most prestigious schools in East Sordland, welcomed the special visitors. Assembly talks about prayer language. Today, Kizaru Keebner, the leader of the NFP, has proposed the Sordish Prayer Language Act to the Assembly. The proposed bill aims to standardize the language of prayers to Sordish in the entire Sordland. Prayer language has always been a controversial topic, as most of the religious ceremonies in Persia, regions where most of the Bludish population resides, conduct their prayer in Bludish. Not for long. Proposal has caused heated discussion between the Bludish MPs and NFP, resulting in Monsoon Leckie, the leader of the independent MPs, leaving the assembly in protest. Communist Party leader arrested. Dennis Stoller, that's where he came from, I guess. Leader of the Communist Party of Sordland has been detained along with at least 10 other members because of their reluctance to give testimony for crimes linked to terrorist propaganda. Police raided the whole sword home of leader Dennis Stoller early on Friday. Stoller, a charismatic leader known as the Sordish Hegel by some admirers, has been targeted by several earlier investigations, but this is the first time that he's been detained. Holsword accuses the CPS politicians of using the Red Youth Organization to create terror, acting to further the interest of the Malinivist administration of United Country. Radical. What's going on in Dyer? Dyer has been sealed off since last Friday after the Sordish police launched an operation against the Bludish militant there. Which was started after the unlawful arrest of Fitaji. Let's see, anything. The situation around the country is becoming increasingly violent. Goons of Rayne attack strikers. Goons of President Rayne have attacked the strikers protesting for their own rights in the construction site for the mega infrastructure project. We asked for an answer from the administration, and the response we received was the decree contains laws against the rights of assembly and protest. It's clear that Mr. Rayne is on a path to become a full-fledged dictator, especially after the declaration of the emergency decree. You got that right. Radical. Damn right about that. Gotta go here again. Increased police budget restores stability. Recent increases in the police budget have helped the police forces tremendously in dealing with protests all over the country. Arrests are made swiftly and quickly, and blah, blah, blah. We were still in Liren, staying at a modest guest house for state employees. Ciara set up a meeting with me and Lucian to go over her plans for education reform after our school visit. Lucian was seated across from me at the table, going through documents. Ciara entered the room. After the visit yesterday, I couldn't even sleep thinking about that little boy and girl. I've never been more sure of any of my intentions to reform our education system. Lucian took off his reading glasses and put it on the table. I don't see what's wrong with our education system. You don't? Can't you look at it objectively and see what's wrong with it? Can't be serious. Ciara, check your tone. Did you say that to a man, Lucian? Hey. Those students have to repeat the same soulless propaganda every single day. They are being brainwashed at an age when their minds need to be free. On top of that, young girls are denied the same opportunity as boys. They're forced into a role of housewife before they can even reach puberty. The only way people like me, Nia, Lilius, Gloria, and a whole string of other females were able to escape that is because our families were fortunate and well-connected enough to be able to educate us outside of the public school system. Is that the kind of country you want your daughter to grow up in? My daughter is not going to be going to the public education system. I do not give a fuck. Mr. President, we need to bring change. We need to free the minds of these young people. They are our future. Everything's fine the way it is. I change it. I don't think my words are getting through to you. Are you really fine with filling the heads of our children with soulless propaganda? Yes. With teaching girls like Deanna that their only value to this country is as vessels for childbearing? You know the words of Arthur S. Wissey. You know them better than I do. Education is the premise of progress. All societies in all families. We need to reform our education system, otherwise Sordland's future is bleak. You have a point, alright, so what's your plan? You have more important matters to think about than education for a bunch of kids. You will not stray far from Soul's path. I can't believe it! So what's seen as a huge mistake when people look back. Ciara slumped in defeat. Ciara looked furious. She shook her head slowly. I'm utterly disappointed, especially after yesterday's school visit. I thought it would awaken something and let out a deep sigh. Now that the decision was made, let's move on. What decision? Oh, I guess I just shot her down. She even opened her mouth. Ciara skimmed over her documents before continuing. No change in budget, the ministry was left to its own devices. We made some tough choices, but still lack additional funds. Therefore, we're investigating if privatizing education draw enough funds to conduct investments. What are the advantages of privatization? There aren't many, but it would give us sorely needed funds and increase competition among schools. So we don't have to pay for them anymore? Go against our overall economic strategy of a planned economy. Minutes of deliberation passed. We can manage without additional funds. The only reason I wanted to consider it is to have more money to improve education. What's your decision? Keep education solely a matter of the state. Need to prevent interference from private interests. Will do. That should be it for now. I will get back to work and report back later. This has been a very productive day. I will be returning to Wholesword. See you later. We dispersed after spending nearly the entire day together. Took a moment simply to breathe the fresh evening air of Lyran. I felt calmer here somehow, but I would have to return to the chaos of Whole Sword soon enough. Hey. Well, let's see. Labor Union of Sordland rally violates curfew. Rally organized by the Labor Union of Sordland and Lockhaven has violated the curfew law and was disrupted by local police. Hey. $2,660 dismissed for links to terrorist group. This week, 2,660 state employees were sacked for alleged links to terrorist groups. Okay. United Kantana launches second satellite. Intelligence reports that United Kantana has successfully launched a second satellite, which has the capability of radio communication. That means that United Kantana radio communication will be able to be transmitted through a satellite for the first time ever. Cool. Terrorists being dealt with. Tens of thousands of terrorists and their collaborators have been arrested after the declaration of emergency. From leaks to local journalists, the nearest statistic for the total number of terrorists imprisoned now comes to a grand total of 20,321. Wow. Wonder Sordland was such a mess. All those terrorists. Damn terrorists. State of emergency, which President Rayne said was necessary and fully in line with Sordland's constitution, enabled him to take swift action against terrorists that wreaked havoc around the country. Surely, with the elimination of terror, stability will return to Sordland soon enough. Demonstrators arrested. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I say about it. Anything else before we hit the continue button? Yep. Have up here. Queen Beatrice Livingston calls Sordland a threat to world peace. Bitch. Queen Beatrice Livingston, I mean, come on. Appeared on TV to call Sordland not just a threat to peace in eastern Mercopa, but a threat to peace in the entire world. She has also publicly condemned President Anton Rayne's new policies, and also she expressed her worries about the direction Sordland is headed. Urged the Rumburgian army to secure the southern border, citing violation incidents in northern Sordland. See about that. Balance of power in eastern Mercopa. Right. Have to do religious harmony bill and read the report from Whole Sword. Archaic state of Sordland's conscription laws. Dear reader, I ask you this. What year are we in? 1880s? 1920s? The matter I am writing about is, of course, mandatory military service again. Times when there are no active wars, why do we still need to have these archaic conscription laws? Let me answer that. Because someone profits from it. Not only does this make the warmongering soulless happy, it also works out for large defense corporations. Who just got raped by me? The oligarchs are now swimming in money, but we still have to send our children away when they come of age. We're in the modern age. We want to modernize Sordland and catch up with these superpowers. We want to lose this militaristic identity. Rayne to meet with Smolak and Van Horten. Sordland is embarking on a great geopolitical gamble with the new trade initiative organized by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Hope is the solidification of relations with the old ally Agnolia, and the troublesome neighbor, Wayland, with the aims of regaining some of the regional diplomatic influence the country used to have. Each of these countries have different agendas, which will create some difficulty for President Rayne. Prime Minister Van Horten, who was elected through a powerful democratic movement, wants to reimagine trade with Sordland, while President Smolak of Wayland is looking for new foreign investment and security cooperation against rebellious bloods. Lesbia and Vogsland are watching Sordland's actions very closely and are sure to react to any sort of balance of power shift. Okay. But we will worry about the balance of power in the next episode. Before I do that, this. For the purpose of increasing religious harmony and unity, the following laws are established in religious affairs. Will ensure that the Day of Dissension ceremony in the Arch Sanctuary of Dire shall, from now on, only hold sermons in the Sordish language. Holding sermons in Ludish has been banned. There you go. We are harmonized on our religion. Minister of Health has begun working on a health report with a proposal to allow privatization in the healthcare system to potentially generate new resources for the ministry. Mr. Benawal is personally overseeing the discussion and report with top aides and members of the National Business Council. We'll get to that in the next episode. Anyway, if you like the episode, hit that like button. If you want to follow along as Anton Rayne strong arms everyone in sight and pisses off all the females, hit the subscribe. If you have any thoughts, tips, or advice, leave those in the comment section below, and we will see you for our next episode. J76NY saying thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a very good